Hello everybody, I have a special treat for all of you today. Today what we're doing is we're taking a look at a Numot'TheNummy vintage cube draft. Now, Numot is one of those old school players you've heard so much about. He's been in this game for a pretty long time. In case you couldn't tell, starting to wear his ears a little bit, nothing wrong with that. So we're going to just zoom in here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at his picks. And before he does them, we're going to make a comment or two about what we would do instead. Now, what I'm looking for is ways that we differ in opinion and pick order, and whether or not there's a distinct and large size difference in those regards. Because in my vintage cube run for this season, 14 days long, I've done about 22 drafts or so, and I have one trophy. It's a pretty cool trophy run. It is on the channel. I don't even remember what the name of it is on the channel, but it was really nice. And then every other time has been 2-1 or worse. A lot of 2-1s. In fact, mostly 2-1s. But in some way, shape, or form, I just never end up getting that trophy. Numot, on the other hand, has gotten a lot of trophies in a lot of different formats. I keep on seeing his name up on that leaderboard, pretty high up. So we're going to see exactly what's going on here. And I've taken the liberty of moving the speed of him up to 1.75. That way we can kind of get through his video quicker.
Yo, what are my Card Kingdom friends? We're back.
Ooh, maybe 1.75 is a little bit too much. We'll put him to 1.5. And immediately when we look inside this pack, there are three things that leap out to me immediately. We have the counterspell, the sneak attack, and the Volk. Now, if you ask me, it's between the Volk and the sneak attack. Volk's really good in some of the most busted decks in the format, like Twin, and sneak attack is one of the most busted strategies all by itself. So if this were me, I'd probably go with Volk or sneak attack.
Back for some more drafting on Magic Online. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out, see what we got going on here. Delta's pretty solid. Volcanic Island's always good. Thoughtseize, Counterspell, Confluence, Sneak Attack. Which one of those cards do I feel like taking as a first pick here? The quote-unquote safest picks. I kind of feel like taking Sneak Attack, though. Let's just first pick the Sneak Attack and see if we can do some fun stuff with that.
Yep. So Sneak Attack is a pretty good first pick. Obviously, it opens you up to some of the more busted strategies in the format. And now this pack comes up, and it seems like a pretty obvious pick between either a red card or channel. For red cards, there's Stomping Ground and Bone Crusher Giant. But if you're going to take Stomping Ground, you may as well just take Channel and try to wheel the Stomping Ground. So here I would take Channel and look to wheel the Stomping Ground or possibly the Bone Crusher, because I've been pretty impressed with the Bone Crusher.
Ooh, and we get a Channel follow-up.
Yep, Channel. So the reason that I would take Channel here is because it actually fits into basically the same exact deck as Sneak Attack. So the best things you can generally cheat into play with Sneak Attack are the Eldrazi, and wouldn't you know it, Channel lets you play the Eldrazi for cheap, or rather for life points. And that's usually enough when a lot of them have insane abilities like exiling permanents or letting you take an extra turn on top of their Annihilator abilities. Especially if you can get Emrakul. If you could toss that Emrakul into play with a Sneak Attack or channel it out, you're pretty much guaranteed victory. So it'll be interesting to see what he takes.
That's kind of interesting. That gives us two separate routes for casting or cheating out, especially the Eldrazi. But
see, just like that. So far, not a whole lot of changes. It might just be that both of these packs are super duper easy picks, but just the fact that we have the same lines of thought here kind of makes me feel better about what I've been doing, and makes me think that maybe I've just been on the wrong side of variance.
A bunch of good colorless cards to go along with Channel and Sneak Attack. That is cute. Let's do that. The ideal wheel would be the Stomping Ground here.
See, that might seem a little obvious as well, but when you have a big difference in results like him and I do, you do start to wonder if maybe you're just doing things wrong.
Yes, but that is a fun start for sure. Okay, Sneak Attack Channel.
Okay, so this pack seems like a slam dunk taiga. Elvish Mystic is the only other card in the pack that I would consider at this point, and it's not Woodfall Primus, not even close. So there's only one taiga. There's definitely a good number of things that you can play on turn 1 to ramp. There's both of the Hierarchs, there's Llanowar Elves, there's Arbor Elf, and a few other things as well, like Birds of Paradise, I don't think Gilded Goose is in the cube anymore, but if that exists, that would be one as well. But there's only one Taiga. You're never going to get a second Taiga.
We've got a game plan. I am not going to look a gift in the mouth.
Well, would you look at that? Exactly the thing that would make sense here. Maybe all this is just super obvious. Go ahead and tell me in the comments if it is, but so far we're 3 for 3 pretty much on what should be picked out of the packs.
A gift horse in the mouth? Yeah, that's what they say.
I mean, obviously you would hope to wield the Elvish Mystic, but the only other cards in the pack worth considering are Woodfall Primus and possibly the HQ. I don't think Grim Lavamancer is actually a very good card. Oh wait, actually there's also Proving Grounds. I always forget that Proving Grounds is Mountain Forest. So yeah, we're looking for a Mountain Forest, or maybe Woodfall Primus, or maybe the Signet, but I don't think so.
Taiga here, third pick, also looks pretty good. Certainly better than the Proving Ground, I think. For now, anyways. It's always possible I pick up some random tutor effects, because this is going to be a combo deck. Let's be blunt. This is going to be a combo deck. I think we like taking the Taiga here over the Mystic. I don't really want to pick up a bunch of mana dorks. I'd rather pick up good mana, card draw, and of course the fatties that we can channel or sneak attack out. So let's take the Taiga here. I'm expecting to wield Primus, which is a great sneak attack target because unlike a lot of the more nerfed versions of cards these days, sneak attack says sacrifice the creature at the beginning of the end step and not egg.
That is true. Woodfall Primus is one of the things that when you sneak it into play, it does stick around even though it sacrifices, because it persists afterwards. So Tovalar's Huntmaster is actually not that good as far as ways to pump out stuff with sneak attack and channel. You need the quad green for the channel turn, and sneak attacking it, you just get a pair of wolves for your trouble. Signet is a consideration, but if you ask me, the card in the pack that I think has the best chance of actually making the deck is probably Gaia's Cradle. We'll see what he feels like.
Exile, so you can do some pretty nasty things there.
So the thing about Gaia's Cradle specifically here is that even though he said he didn't want the 1-drop elf, like, if you pick up cards like Woodfall Primus, and you have cards like Channel and Sneak Attack in your deck, you need, well, one, you need the card in your deck that you want to sneak into play or channel, then you need the mana to cast it, and then you need the Sneak Attack or the Channel. Having a card like Gaia's Cradle makes it to where you can sometimes just straight up cast those cards.
There. Move into our fourth pick. There's a Dig Through Time if we wanted to go literally deep. Cradle, again, not so good if I'm not going to do the Mana Dork version. Huntmaster's like okay. Xander's Lounge could be okay. Duress is pretty good. Petal's pretty good. Signet could be fine. This is a little bit of a strange pick, I think, but I'm going to go with the Lotus Petal here. I think I'm just going to go for a high roll deck. So Lotus Petal, we have some explosive potential, maybe like a turn 1 channel Eldrazi or something, or maybe we sneak attack a turn earlier.
I wasn't really considering the Lotus Petal. I guess it does make some sense if you think that you're just kind of hoping to, you know, mise your way into the combo as often as you can. But generally speaking, even when I have perfect mana, I find myself mulliganing a lot because I just don't have a hand that really gets there, and I don't really ever feel like I should be counting on my first 2 draws of the game to draw me into potential combos. I'm usually looking for stuff in my opening hand that's either going to keep my opponent from winning the game or is going to win me the game, and cards like Lotus Petal are basically a mulligan in a good number of hands, especially in decks like this where they're not really doing anything unless you have the combo already in your hand. They just make the combo better.
That type of thing. I'm going to go with the Petal here.
Well, we did hear a little bit of a chuckle right there, and we all kind of understand there's nothing in this pack that comes close to Emrakul. It'd be cool to maybe take a Nissa. There's a chance that you end up wanting to play a card like Blooming Marsh or something in this deck if you want to end up in black, but like realistically this is the best card in the cube for what we have already with Channel and Sneak Attack, so Emrakul it is.
And there we go. Deck is done right there. Let's just take the Emrakul and submit our deck. You know, we'll run 36 lands.
I mean,
with these 4
close.
spells.
Pretty close to a complete
nothing
deck
to say
right
here.
there.
That is the best card for Channel and Sneak Attack. So things are looking good here, my friends.
Yeah, usually if I take a start like Channel Sneak Attack, I'm waiting until like pack 2 or pack 3 to actually get paid off with anything worthwhile to put in. It is really good to get it this early because then you could just plan the rest of your deck. You don't really have to worry too much about what you're doing.
I don't like green as a baseline for these type of decks because it's normally just like a bunch of random creatures.
So that is true. One of the things that red has is you do have a good amount of card selection. There's a bunch of different ways to sort of filter through your deck, pitch things you don't need, draw things that you do. You have a faithless looting. There's a whole bunch of looting effects actually. Seasoned Pyromancer, all sorts of stuff.
I actually like Splashing Channel more in like a blue-red shell, where you get access to like counter magic and card draw, selection stuff, that type of stuff. So that's why I was saying taking the, but this.
Okay, so this is a pack that's interesting. Light Up the Stage is actually really bad in decks like this, because if you exile a Sneak Attack or an Emrakul or a Channel and you can't play it, well, it's just gone for the entire game. However, there's not really a whole lot in this pack that jumps out to me immediately. If you're trying to avoid being base green, then Grist isn't really a consideration. Similarly, I think Nissa is also just not that exciting of a card. I haven't really been too impressed, which leaves it very few options. I guess you could take a Rabble Master on the off chance that you have to start pressuring your opponent, but this pack's kind of a whiff.
Really have anything I'm super happy to take here. There is a Grist we could splash, I guess. Nissa is like medium. Cliffs is just okay. Rabble Master is just okay. There is a Halana and Elena here. That's kind of interesting. Halana and Elena to give my channel cards haste. Maybe not the worst play.
Yeah, if you're channeling an Emrakul into play, you don't really need the haste. You've kind of already gotten there.
But I can't imagine taking a Halana and Elena here. Maybe we take the Rabble Master as like a random variant for aggression, but I think here the Blackcleave Cliffs is probably the better choice.
So the Blackcleave Cliffs is an interesting choice. I think it does possibly enable a Black Splash a little bit better, which is good. But he did make a nod towards the Rabble Master being something that would be an alternative strategy.
If we pick up any of the black tutors, aha, like Imperial Seal. That
Imperial Seal is a tutor, and while it is like one of the worst ones, it is in fact good in decks like this, where you want to put exactly one of these 3 cards on top of your deck if you have one of the others.
that is going to be clutch. Yeah, for sure just taking the Seal here. Like I said, we're building a combo deck, so a way to tutor is fantastic. Even though Sylvan Caryatid is also very good, I think we have to go with the Seal.
Okay, so now it's Garrick, Goblin Bombardment, and Makeshift Mannequin. So if you end up pitching an Emrakul to hand size or any other effect, you can actually Makeshift Mannequin it, and since it has protection from colored spells, you can actually get there pretty often. So if I'm him, that's what I'm taking, the Makeshift Mannequin.
Seal. Okay, Savannah, Scrubland are both fine. Tracker's not bad here, if we wanted. That gives us a little bit of card draw in green. Yeah, maybe the Tracker's a better pickup here than the Savannah. I can see that.
So he doesn't even look at the Makeshift Mannequin, which is interesting, because he did reference not really wanting to be green too much. Green is not bad. Tireless Tracker is actually one of the better creatures, but I still think in a situation like this, if you're trying to avoid green, that Makeshift Mannequin is definitely a possible play. I didn't make a nod to the Tireless Tracker though, so this is the first time that we've really had a major difference in what we thought. Now it's probably just Blood Crypt, if you ask me.
Eternal Witness. We probably don't need that one, so let's take the Blood Crypt here. Oh, you know what? Finale of Devastation is also a combo with the channel. Actually, let's do that.
Is it? Is that just green or... No, any creature card. So you do have to have quad green to make that work. But then you can... Emrakul. And... the creature does gain haste and +X/+X. So that would be an instantaneous victory if it resolves.
You do require, or it does require a quad green, but you can channel Finale and one-shot people that way.
However, also, Channel can be countered and Emrakul cannot be countered. So that is another consideration. But it is another way for Channel to work. So I think it's definitely justifiable. Although we're moving further and further towards a green base, which is the one thing he said he wanted to avoid.
I think that's... I said I didn't want to be moving into heavy green, but here
Nice.
we are. I mean, I guess it's the right choice.
Okay, now we have Bone Crusher Giant, Kitchen Finks, and Avenger. I don't really think Avenger's very good. Uh, I don't think Avengers is a consideration here. I think you're either on the Kitchen Finks plan or the Bone Crusher. Personally, I like the Bone Crusher here to give you some early interaction against aggressive decks and ways to shoot down utility creatures that your opponent's playing.
There's the Bone Crusher on the wheel. We're certainly going to take that over Avenger. I mean, maybe it's going to be that green is the way to go. Oh, and especially...
Yeah, Elvish Mystic comes back. That's kind of exactly what I was looking for. Unfortunate that the Gaia's Cradle's passing by, since going green would have kind of paid us off here. But hey, sometimes you make decisions. I don't think Vampire Hexmage is worth considering, and Woodfall Primus is just so replaceable in decks like this.
For wheeling the Elvish Mystic now. Yeah, okay, so I will say this. It will be easier to cast Channel when we are getting all the good green mana dorks. I don't like passing Primus.
Yeah, oh wow, the Cradle comes back? Oh, what a joke. I think that might be the first time I've ever seen a Cradle actually table. Either way, Elvish Mystic is much better if what you're trying to do is cast a Channel and then cast something like a Finale of Devastation. So I'm pretty happy with how things are looking now. So here's a pretty obvious Cradle. Tovolar's Huntmaster is just so medium.
Here, but I'm not going to look... Wow. A huge gift in the... I keep saying that. I don't know where I heard that recently, but yeah, anyways, we're not going to pass up all of these good green cards if they're coming around. I mean, look at this Cradle, 12th pick. Exploration could be...
Yeah, I understand taking the Exploration, but Exploration is not good. Exploration is a pretty bad card in my opinion. I've never really seen it do much of anything. The only time it does is in decks where you have like a shitload of card draw, just a critical mass of things and like wheels and stuff. But even then there's just Fast Bond, which is just a better version of that already. And there's ways to make Fast Bond actually good. Exploration's just aggressively medium.
Be good. This could be good, depending on if we get like Strip Mine or something. We'll see about that. Okay, we'll take the Halana and Elena now. And Whisperwood Elemental, so... Yeah, green clearly open.
So there is a consideration for Whisperwood when it comes to specifically the Gaia's Cradle, but I think he is right to put it in the sideboard. I don't really think it's an especially impressive card.
Didn't wheel the Stomping Ground to note, but man, we...
Yeah, the Stomping Ground did not come back. I did not notice, but yeah, that not appearing back in the pack is very strange.
Have a good start to cheating some nonsense out, so... Seal's not my favorite tutor effect, but I think it's still worthy of running. Ideally, we would get, like, Demonic Tutor or Vampiric or some better ways to card draw. Okay.
Jesus. Well, I mean, in case it wasn't obvious enough, Black Lotus, pretty obvious pick here. Hope to wheel Mox Sapphire. I just hold my breath on that one, I guess. Yeah, wheel maybe the Wall of Roots, or maybe the Endurance. None of these other cards I think I really want. Maybe Incinerate, just keep the aggression off, blow things up. Maybe Seething Song, but I don't think so.
Pack number 2, and alrighty. We have opened ourselves a Black Lotus and a Mox Sapphire in the same pack. Wow. Not much to say here. We will simply just take the Lotus and say, you're welcome to whoever's sitting on our right. What can we wheel? We could wheel Field of the Dead. I'd be very surprised if Signet wheeled. Sorry, not Field of the Dead. Wall of Roots. And yeah, I'd be surprised if Signet wheels.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he's honestly considering Field of the Dead here, I'm going to be kind of insulted that I haven't gotten that many trophies. And he has, because Field of the Dead's not very good. I think it's actually pretty bad right now in the cube. I think if you ever get to the point where Field of the Dead is good, your opponent just is not playing a good deck.
So, take the Lotus, move on with our lives. Is this going to be a good Cradle deck right now? No, not really. I mean, it could just be that we go like super heavy green, like maybe we aren't even splashing red, depending on what we end up getting. I don't know, we have a lot of busted potential. I need to find more card draw.
So the things to look for, like he just said, would be card draw, but we're also looking for ways to justify these splashes. So like, I think we already passed on an Overgrown Tomb earlier, but Bayou would be nice, as well as like a Windswept Heath, or perhaps a Verdant Catacombs or something.
I need to find some more draw 7s, so any of the blue card draw effects I think is going to be high on my list of things.
Alright, now we have Oracle of Moldiah, which is just a good value creature. Thespian Stage, which is just a backdoor towards another combo, but there's also a Duretti, and Duretti is definitely a way to loot. I don't know if that's actually worth. Might just be like Lava Claw reaches, if you want to play cards like Imperial Seal. But at this point, I don't even know if Imperial Seal makes it, since that's the only black card we've got, and all we have is Black Cleave Cliffs. So if you ask me, it's like Oracle of Moldiah. I don't really think Elder Gargaroth is very good. Escape to the Wilds is actually not bad, because it goes till the end of your next turn, but it does exile the cards, and you can't really make the Emrakul work too well out of there, unless you specifically get Channel. You can't really sneak, you know, with that, because it goes from your hand. So I'm on Oracle, with a special nod to Escape to the Wilds and then Thespian Stage.
Things. Oh, similarly, Upheaval here.
Upheaval? Yeah, I don't really know about that one. I think we're pretty far away from an Upheaval deck. We don't have any blue lands whatsoever. We already have cards in 3 different colors. We're trying to cast a turn 2 Channel. We definitely don't have like Trop or Breeding Pool. Actually, I think we passed up on a Breeding Pool earlier. I might be mistaken.
Upheaval, when we are probably making a lot of fast mana, can't be bad. There's an Oracle of Moldiah as well.
Yeah, I think Upheaval would be extremely greedy, and almost certainly not going to make the deck unless we get a perfect like sequence of cards ahead. Oracle is just good in decks that can play it.
Upheaval versus Oracle, I think, is an interesting choice. Not really looking at Escape or Gargaroth or Duretti. I think those are more likely to wheel in the end. I kind of dig taking the Oracle. I mean, I don't have any blue cards yet. Yeah, that's fine. Stick with the green. We'll take the Oracle.
That's a wise choice. I'm pretty happy with him on that one. There's a Time Spiral, and he just reserved it. I do not know about that. Things that I do know about. Eureka. Admittedly, Eureka can go wrong, but if you Eureka in an Emrakul, there's not that much that can go wrong. There's some like triggered abilities and stuff that can mess you up a little bit, but generally speaking, every time I've cast Eureka, I'm always in the deck where Eureka's really good, and if my opponent's in a deck where Eureka's really good, I just side it out. There's also Questing Beast, which is also a very, very strong card. I've always been happy when I've played it. It saved me from Progenitus by blocking and killing it. Or no, they blocked with their Progenitus and Questing Beast killed it, which felt pretty good because it says damage can't be prevented. I'd be very, very surprised if he went with Time Spiral.
And there is a Time Spiral. So we will take that. I kind of wish I had taken the blue card in the last pack now, but that's fine. Time Spiral's still good enough to take here, even though we passed that up.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if that makes the deck, but it could. Now we have an Oko. If he really wants to lean hard into this blue, it's Oko. Otherwise, we're looking at like Courser, Garrick, Signet, which is a red-green, which is good. Yeah, I think I lean towards Signet.
Upheaval? Okay, Oko, Courser. Jeez Louise.
And the reason I lean towards Signet instead of Oko or Courser is because we don't have any way to actually make the blue splash work. Signet is good for casting a channel if we don't have the perfect mana, which right now all we have is Taiga and an Elvish Mystic. And the Gaia's Cradle is very bad in this deck right now. So with that in mind, I think it's pretty obviously not Oko, but who knows, maybe things work out for him.
I probably have to just take the Oko, and maybe this Exploration is actually going to start making it in the deck. If I was taking Courser here, it would be for sure, but I think Oko is just a little bit too good, right? I mean, we're passing Gruul Signet too. These packs are just absolutely disgusting for us.
Okay, so Mountain Plain Swamp, a Bloodstained Mire, which does get the Taiga, but doesn't do anything else. There's also Grizzlebrand, which is a sneak attack thing you can do. Problem is, it only works with sneak attack, it does not work with channel. Also a chance that Through the Breach manages to make its way over. So if you're asking me, I think it's just the land. And then try to start more aggressively picking up lands. Because right now we're like near the middle of pack 2, and our mana is absolute shit.
Pest Infestation's very good. Meyer does grab Taiga and a Black Source.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and take the fetch here. It's good with Oracle, it's good with Tracker, it's good with the Exploration as well if we can get some graveyard shenanigans like Ramanap. Let's do that.
A wise decision if you ask me. Now there's a Through the Breach, which the Grizzlebrand's not coming back, but if it did, Through the Breach is a good thing to do with it. If you're really trying to make the blue-green work, you would take like Hydroid Crisis, because you can channel into it and you don't really go too negative on that exchange. You draw some cards, you gain some life, you have a big giant beater. It's definitely worthwhile. And that's also a cast trigger, so even if they counter the Hydroid Crisis, you do get your cards and your life out of it. Special nod to Through the Breach as the card I'd probably take otherwise, and then like Unlicensed Hearse. Ashen Rider's good with Sneak Attack. That's a card I'm looking to get back if I take the Breach.
The Breach. Do we want to take Through the Breach in addition? Because it looks like I'm starting to cut the red. I mean, I don't actually have more than the Emrakul for a sneak attack target. Though I guess I could take Inferno Titan. I mean, that's also great.
I think Inferno Titan's okay. So, in this deck right now, the way the mana's looking, it's actually easier to get quad green than it is to get double green, double red. But it's definitely still possible. So quad green, you can get off of Black Lotus and a Forest, or like channel Finale of Devastation. So you can't really channel an Inferno Titan until turn 2, unless you have like Lotus Petal, and then you're just spewing a mana and using 3 cards, and if they have any kind of interaction, you're kind of fucked.
This is just hard castable as well. Let's do that.
It is hard castable. Now there's an Ulamog, and well, it is Ulamog.
There's Ulamog. Ulamog, Opposition, Frantic Search, Sakura Tribel, they're all really, really good. Okay, but that's gonna lock me in.
Necromancy. Neither of those cards are really necromancyable. Yeah, and it sacrifices at the end of beginning of the cleanup step, which means even if you like end step this somehow by like discarding on end step and then trying to hit with a necromancy, it will just sacrifice during the cleanup step. So there's not really a way to game that one. Yeah, none of these cards are really gonna do it. I guess Metamorphose has the highest chance because you can actually make that work for the channel stuff.
Now we will for sure be playing the sneak attack. Monolith versus Manamorphose.
I don't know about Monolith. I think Monolith is fine. It does cast cards like Time Spiral, but usually you want actual 6 lands in play for Time Spiral. It does make Inferno Titan better, but feel like that's not really worth.
Don't think we need the Morphos, but it's pretty good. Tough call here. I guess the Cradle's probably a cut at this point. Yeah, the Cliffs is also not great. I don't know about the Seal anymore. Manamorphose, Assault Monolith. Let's go with the mana.
Assault
okay,
Monolith.
We did not
okay,
wheel.
interesting. So now there's Endurance. Endurance is a pretty solid sideboard card against one of the more busted decks in the format. Reanimator is actually extremely strong and relatively difficult to interact with if you don't have an actual way to stop it. And Endurance is that. It also just happens to be an oversized flash creature, and there are a lot of times where that will just get your opponent.
Wall of Root.
Especially against some of the more aggressive decks in the format.
It's here. We'll take sideboard Endurance.
Okay, so if you're going to play Bloom, there is Show and Tell, and Show and Tell Emrakul, Show and Tell Ulamog are both perfectly valid things. Only other considerations are Escape, which once again isn't really that good with the specific combination of cards and strategy, and Duretti, which is a good way to, you know, filter through your deck. But I'm on Show and Tell if you really want to try and make blue work.
Did get Escape, did get Duretti, and we could even take Show and Tell if we really wanted to get cute. It does feel like Escape or Doretti are better choices here, though. Yeah, let's play it safe. Let's take the Escape to the Wilds.
Escape to the Wild's definitely good. Now we have a Eureka. I mean, now you have Emrakul as well as Ulamog and an Inferno Titan. I think there's still definitely a question of whether or not you want to take the Questing Beast instead. But maybe it is just Eureka. I don't know. I think I would take Questing Beast.
Eureka. Okay, maybe. Maybe that's a good sideboard card versus...
Ooh, okay, so Questing Beast is a good main deck card. Eureka is a good sideboard card. I definitely think that Questing Beast would make the main deck here.
some control deck or something, or maybe a Storm deck. Pack 3, I'm going to have to focus on taking Fixing. My Fixing right now is really, really weak.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. You can't really... I don't think he's really passed up on a lot of Fixing, but, like, he's being very ambitious with his colors here, and you cannot afford to just do that every single time you're in a pack. Like, you have a Time Spiral and Oko, double green cards, black card, and your mana is just absolute garbage. Like, realistically, with this deck as it is right now, you shouldn't be playing the Oko, you shouldn't be playing the Time Spiral, and you shouldn't be playing the Imperial Seal. Imperial Seal does not have enough sources, and you need as many green and red as you can make in order to do stuff like early as possible Inferno Titan and early sneak attacks and stuff like that.
Like, my mana's not going to be bad. We can just go heavy green, but yeah, definitely need to take some more lands. Okay, we did wheel the Courser. Oh, but you know what? I think I actually need to take the Gruul Signet now.
That's a disciplined pick. I definitely agree with it here. Like, it's pretty cool to have the Courser, but I think at this point you need the mana fixing so bad.
This is just too perfect, and it's really good with Channel. Like, you can channel into Gruul Signet and then add red and green. Yeah, too good.
Now it's probably just Pest Infestation. The card is good. I always forget that it makes twice X 1/1 green and black pest creature tokens, and that definitely makes up for the fact that it's very, very, very slow to play.
Good. Pest Infestation wheeling is interesting, but maybe we want regrowth here? I think that might make more sense. Okay,
Birthing Pod in the
pack
sideboard?
2.
Interesting.
Now we need to find the fixers. Noble Hierarch's good. Signet's good.
Yeah, I think the Signet or the... Actually, I think it is just Signet.
Ponder is okay. Narset with Time Spiral is obviously kind of gross.
Yeah, but you're way too far away from casting that. I think it is very foolish to take Narset here. I think it is pretty obviously either the Signet or the Hierarch.
This is probably Noble Hierarch over Rakdos Signet. And I mean, if we're wheeling the Gruul Signet, I guess we can maybe get the Rakdos on the wheel too. I'll do that. Take the Hierarch here. Natural Order, I didn't take any big green cards. We have a Power Stone, which is okay. Probe, okay.
Okay, so hear me out. I think here the best pick in the pack is Gataxian Probe. And I think that is the case because it's free. It only costs you 2 life, which is not that big of a deal. It also digs you through your deck a little bit better. Realistically, there's very little difference in most of the time anyway, between channeling 2/5 and channeling 2/3. It's a consideration against one deck or one style of deck, and that's decks that play things that can target your face for 3 damage before you attack for 15 and make them sacrifice their whole board. So I think it is definitely good probe. It helps you know if your opponent has counter magic, lets you know what things you need to be playing around, stuff like that. All these other cards are kind of medium. Like Worn Power Stone is just okay. Elvish Reclaimer is just not good. Natural Order, definitely don't have a deck for that yet. And like Tameo, still can't play blue.
Okay. I guess Chandra could be okay, maybe not really. We're not seeing any of the lands we want to take.
Chandra is not good in this deck. So Chandra seems like a pretty cool card until the first time you exile your Emrakul or Ulamog or Sneak Attack or Channel, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm not doing any of that stuff this turn.
I mean, Probe is always free. Nothing wrong with just taking that. Okay.
Yep, there we go. We're doing some good stuff here. I definitely agree with that one.
Not the most exciting pickup, but that's fine. I'm still hesitant on this Imperial Seal now.
Yeah, the Imperial Seal is pretty
Like,
far
without some
away
better
from being
fixing, it's just
castable.
super awkward. Need to get some duels or triomes or something really badly, but we've got some stuff going on.
Okay.
Nick.
Pretty unfortunate to see a Jace the Mind Sculptor right now. But Emrakul the Promised End is definitely a card that can deliver. It does not have nearly as much protection as the original Emrakul, but it does still have some protection. And trust me, it is not bad. It's definitely powerful. So if they don't immediately kill it as soon as you cast it with something, then what you do is you take their turn and you just mess it up really, really bad. And it doesn't seem like that'd be too bad sometimes, but trust me, every single time there's something you can do to just ruin your opponent's day. There's like a discard outlet, all sorts of random nonsense that you can do to just make their life absolutely miserable.
Next pack. Oh my, we have a Jace and Emrakul.
Other considerations would be Utopia Sprawl. I think Utopia Sprawl is also justifiable. I think it might even be more justifiable than the Emrakul, to be honest, now that I think about it. Things that I would not consider, Jace, Urom. You're just not casting Jace. Like, I don't... Like, he would have to be delusional to think that the Jace is the pick here. I don't mean to be mean to him or anything, but like, that's about as wishful thinking as it can get.
Oh, that was worth it? No. This just looks like a Utopia Sprawl, right? That's good. That's fixing. Yeah, for sure. Just need to take the Sprawl here.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this is actually pretty close to an Oath of Druids deck, to be honest. It doesn't take a lot to turn that card on, although some decks are a little bit worse at it. You can't really play the Leovold. I don't know if Chrome Mox is worth. Ragavan is nice, but I don't know if it's worth in this deck specifically. Well, you know what? I take that back. Making treasures is pretty sweet. Maybe I just really like Ragavan. So I think it's between like Ragavan, Chrome Mox, and Oath of Druids. Because you can definitely make a Oath of Druids work here. Actually, no, you couldn't. You'd have to cut way too much. So it's Chrome Mox or Ragavan. Lean towards Chrome Mox here.
Oath of Druids. Okay, if I ended up cutting...
Yeah, you would have to cut like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to cut 6 cards out of your deck, bringing it to 20 cards, and you can't even play 1, 2, 3, 4 of them at all. So bring you down to 16. Oath would make 17, and that's not counting the Taiga. You'd be at 16 playables. Yeah, it needs to be either Chrome Mox or Ragavan.
No, that's not going to work. So Chrome Mox here or Ragavan look okay. I think that makes sense.
The more I look at the deck, the more I think that maybe Ragavan's just better. Because Ragavan still has utility sometimes in the later game, and any turn that it gets in is just going to be so much better than Chrome Mox. Chrome Mox is a 2-for-1 that hits you, and if they ever do anything to it, you're just fucked. The worst thing that happens to Ragavan is it gets 1-for-1, and if it ever hits the opponent, it just feels like it's better than Chrome Mox.
Man, where are all the land fixers, though?
Sometimes the lands just don't come. People just pick lands high sometimes. Like, sometimes just never gets to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the Chrome Mox. Some more fast mana potential.
I don't think it's Gilded Lotus. Although maybe... Nah. Is it Char? I guess Char's removal. It's not Figure of Destiny, it's not Pyretic Ritual. Maybe Kogla? No way. This pack's just kind of bad.
Lotus? Okay, yeah, we need to take Lotus here. It's not the fixing we want, but maybe it's the fixing I deserve.
I think it's definitely the fixing he deserves. Taking cards like Time Spiral. Just running low on actual playables. I think if you want to cast Time Spiral, it's definitely a must play.
And that's a fine thing to channel into, right? Turn 2, you have 2 green floating. You channel. You only have colorless. You can float, or you can pay 5 for the Lotus and have some new colors available. So that's probably.
Thragtusk, Botanical Sanctum, Crop Rotation, Boseiju. I think if you want to cast the blue spells, it is Botanical Sanctum. Otherwise, it's Boseiju. I think Boseiju is actually pretty good.
Probably good enough. Hey, fixing. Botanical Sanctum here? Wait, is that the only fixer? I guess so. Just a lot of white lands. All right. We have enough playables, though, so.
Ooh. A Blightsteel Colossus this late in the pack? Not gonna lie, I'm pretty tempted. It's Devoted Druid or Arbor Elf otherwise. Yeah. I mean, you got a sneak attack, you got a channel, you got a little bit of card draw. Yeah, you could do worse.
Taking Sanctum's good. Nice choices here as well. Arbor Elf, Devoted Druid. I'm not even going to consider the Blightsteel Colossus. I actually think that's a very weak sneak attack target.
It's not the strongest sneak attack target since they tend to have blockers up. But against a lot of decks, like they're just trying to flunge into your face as hard as they possibly can to avoid letting you have turns to do stuff like this. Arbor Elf, I think, is kind of... Well, I guess in this deck it's a little better than average. Actually, no, it's not. It's pretty average. Since you're going to have a lot of mountains and probably some islands in there as well. And then Devoted Druid, I think Devoted Druid is the pick here.
It's not a bad channel hit, but with sneak attack, for example, if they just have any creature with 2 or more toughness, they can block it. So, Arbor Elf versus Devoted Druid. More green, but a turn later versus Elf. I only have the one duel. But it comes down on turn 1, so I think that's what we want to take. Nice Breeding Pool. Wow.
Breeding Pool this late? Oh my gosh. That's a pretty lucky guy right there. Yeah, he kind of just has it all now. I mean, it doesn't get fetched by Bloodstained Mire, but it is just fixing, and it makes this deck look slightly more palatable, especially with the Oko.
Wow. Super clutch pickup there as well for our blue splashes.
Yeah, it's not Magus. It's not Shallow Grave. Does Imperial Recruiter do anything? Not really. It's not Edric. Guess it's like... I don't know. I have no idea.
Golos Wield, Edric Wield.
I guess you can funnel all of your mana into Hangerback or Golos.
I don't see us running any of these.
So here, I think it is just Tameo. I don't think Elvish Reclaimer is good.
Natural Order Wield too. Yikes. Are we going to play Tameo? Maybe. We're not playing Natural Order, sadly.
Hornet Queen. I guess it is a card you can play, and it's actually in the realm of castability, thanks to like Gilded Lotus and Basalt Monolith.
Hornet Queen over.
Still far away from an Oath deck. I think it's just a Ranged Hermit.
Nothing. I mean, we picked up a bunch of token producers to go along with that Cradle that's in our sideboard, but I still don't think it's worth it here. In another timeline, that Oath of Druids would also be really, really good, but well.
Yeah, actually consideration for Ravager of the Fells or Huntmaster of the Fells, but I don't think it's better than Gilded Lotus right now.
Temple Guard does nothing. Okay.
And Croakster for the board.
So, I don't know how this deck is going to play out. It feels like if we high roll, we have a chance, but...
Yeah, so I've played a lot of decks where high rolling would be good, and let me tell you, I don't really high roll. I tend to low roll most of the time. The dice seem to be a little bit loaded. So I think cutting blue is a good plan here. I think trying to play that blue is just going to be really greedy, and you're minimizing your chances of high rolling by virtue of just having multiple different colliding game plans and cascading problems from the card choices down to the fact that you need the combo, down to your mana base not working well. But maybe things are going to go different for him.
For the most part, I think the deck is missing a couple of pieces, but maybe we can just draw them and get lucky. So let's see. Run the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green sources. Yeah, this looks all right.
Okay, so 2 islands, 3 mountains, a bunch of forests. Playing the Arbor Elf, which is certainly interesting. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, there's definitely going to be games where you just can't untap a forest with Arbor Elf, and you're just going to have to understand and accept that. It will suck. But that's okay. I mean, the only way you can even cast it without a forest is Botanical Sanctum, so it's not like it's that punishing. I think playing the Regrowth is interesting. I think playing the Time Spiral is pretty greedy. I can see Oko as a pretty okay play if you can justify the blue. He seems to have a functional deck at the very least. What are his results with this deck? Only have an hour and 4 minutes of screen time.
I mean, we have Channel, we have Sneak Attack, we have 2 Eldrazi, so there's always a chance with this, but consistency is going to be an issue, I think. We're going to need to probably draw very well, but I'm going to give this a shot to cast Time Spiral. Wow, they drew swords? Oh my gosh. Fortunate. The question is, will we find that gap? I'm guessing they're going to go... Feels like it's going to happen. Drew the land, right? Probably cut the regrowth.
Okay,
and they're just going to scoop it up. Perfect.
I mean, in this game, they kind of just stall out against a blue-eyed Cheon's deck, and then after a Time Spiral, they draw into Channel Ulamog. So that's 1-0 so far.
Cool. Strike.
They do draw the
green
removal for the turn 1 Mom,
Bone Crush,
which is pretty lucky.
Get the clue. Huh. Still racing.
They have a pretty solid setup on these early turns for racing. Wow, play and immediately get value off the Oracle.
Given that we have
a Hunt Master on top of the library, for even more value on the board. Channel on top of the deck. There's also a Time Spiral Black Lotus going on. Jeez.
Get Emrakul me. Get Emrakul me.
Oh god. Emrakul? Is this a joke? And they already... Oh god. Just everything?
5, 8, 12, 13. Alright.
Yeah, that's
got the first round.
The first game.
Keepable hand.
And this is... Yeah, this is a deck. And this is definitely a hand. They mull it? That's interesting. What they got
going on there. They are on twin. Okay. Oh, wait. I am a fool. I am a big fool. I cannot Oko on turn 2 because I got rid of my only blue card for Chrome Mox.
Nice.
Yikes.
Good job, Numot.
So they get to Ragavan turn 1?
Oof.
Well, that is not good. Oh.
Oh, wow. They're never punished? Jeez.
So, is it better to Lotus, Tracker, play land, pop clue?
Yes.
Or is it better just to Oko the Ragavan? I think the more winning play is probably to go Lotus, Tracker.
That's correct. I would agree in that situation. Can't even attack with the Ragavan. They get a turn 1 Ragavan and their opponent's just like, oh, by the way, Lotus put a 4/3 into play, draw an extra card. Have another ridiculous play next turn.
Second red.
I guess I can't play out the Oko still, which is kind of funny. Are they gonna
Splinter Twin?
Oh yeah, they're gonna exile the Oko, play an Oracle. Inferno Titan on top.
So do I need to attack
Jesus. Here? Yeah, I don't think attacking is wise.
And the Ragavan
it's a little greedy.
Free attack, which I don't think I can allow.
They have a Pestermite and a Splinter Twin in their hand.
But yeah, we might just be dead next turn.
If they don't have double red for the
what if they're gonna Pestermite, tap my Tireless Tracker to attack? It's a little bit risky. So we'll float the mana, we'll go ahead and draw. If they're playing out the Pestermite, that means they have the red source already.
Does not necessarily mean that. Like, that's usually what it means.
To shuffle.
But it's not always. It's a pretty baller play
Try to get some
to
lands on
shuffle
top.
off of that.
It's good. Good. I'm guessing we're just dead here, though, but we'll see. No Titan in my hand. So. Lucky.
Yeah, express. Oh,
Okay,
wow,
definitely
what?
Titan away their creatures. And they scoop it up. Perfect. Wow. Got lucky.
Yeah, wow. Pretty nice. I guess that we're going to get
And I think that's all we can do.
Inferno Titans. And there's like no
Maybe I
sideboard
just draw
plan.
channel now. Okay. Oh, okay, so we go looking for cultivate new island. And okay, to hit some land.
Yeah, there's the
Miner does
Magda.
not
Magda's
grab
so
blue, does
sweet.
it? Time spiral. There we go. There, that's too bad.
Play out the Oko.
Wait, do I have any more? I have one more mountain for Bloodstained Mire to grab here off of.
Espresso iteration, their own tireless tracker. Holy shit, what is going on over here? We have the basic island, basic plains, basic forest, taiga, triland, Renin 6, thieving skydiver, Magda, Remand expressive iteration deck. What an interesting monstrosity this is. He was wondering where all the mana fixing went. Clearly it went to this opponent, right?
I think I like shuffling away the escape to the wild. If we turn that into a 3/3, we can attack. Lotus.
Black Lotus, that's pretty good, I guess.
Oh, I guess I should just time spiral right now, shouldn't I?
Yes, you should.
Because we have sneak attack that I could draw into. Did not hit it. Did not hit channel either. The Wild has gone. I am much more confident that
Can you see that game? Oof.
We're drawing land, so
yeah, game
like
not looking good. All right, 1-1.
All right,
third
turn.
match. Oh dear.
Wow, that is brutal. Let's see.
Well,
so they're going to turn off sneak attack, and there's nothing I can do about that. I can't sneak attack in Inferno Titan in response because it dies at end of turn. Good stuff. That's funny.
You just need to draw any.
So I'm gonna have to regrowth the Black Lotus here, and then hard cast the Inferno Titan on a later date. Funny, 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 funny. But how did far ahead? Oh wait, did I miss lethal? How did I only count 19? It's ETB and attack. Oh, I think I just missed turn 2 lethal, didn't I? I totally missed lethal. Okay, that's on me. Whoops. I'm like 99% sure I missed turn 2 lethal.
Whoopsie doopsie.
How did I just forgot that it was going to both attack and ETB. That's funny. Well, unless they have a swords or a path here, they do.
Unfortunately
lose,
for them, it doesn't seem to matter too much.
Oh my gosh.
They had a swords.
All right, I totally deserve this loss. This was a very easy win, so.
They also have to deal with Inferno Titan. Parallax Wave?
I can't believe what I've done.
That's not really a good answer, is it?
On regrowth.
That's temporary as hell.
Beyond this.
It might not matter. Might just get there.
Lack there. Make mistakes. Activation there. So.
Not quite enough aggression.
Titan back next turn. Aha. Cool, which I can do off of Lotus Petal. I would have to pay a bunch of life. So I think the best option is actually just to sneak attack the Emrakul. Because that'll hit them for 15.
And they can't sack the Parallax
Titan
Wave.
comes back and nugs them for the last 3. A turn 2 kill, and I just...
Jesus. Never punished? Okay, and there's a turn 2 channel.
Okay, we do need to play one always. Z off of the escape. Super low.
Escape to the
not only do I
wilds?
exile 5, and then we look at the top.
No.
Okay.
That's surprising.
Don't need to like
sneak attack on top. All the combo, none of the payoff.
Tracker of turn. What? Oh baby. Damn.
Okay, well they pilot to a 2-1 finish with that deck. 6 trophies in the Vintage Cube over the course of this current season. Definitely higher than me, which is unfortunate, but I'm definitely happy for him. I don't really think there was a whole lot that he did that was like significantly better than the stuff I was doing. If I learned anything from this draft, it's that he did things that he enjoyed and he had fun. And I do things I enjoy and I have fun. Although it would be nice to have trophies, it's also much nicer to just enjoy the game that you play. And that's the thing that I've been trying to do. I hope that you've enjoyed this video as well. I'm going to wrap it up now. Feel free to leave a comment, like, maybe subscribe. Tell me if you think that any of his picks were awful and unjustified, if you think that Blue Splash was a little bit greedy, if you think that maybe I was out of line in some of the assessments that I made. But until next time, you've been watching Robot Relics, and I hope that you have a wonderful night.